Fair and good report. Joining us now, former Pentagon official Michael Maloof and geopolitical strategist John Sitilides, two smart guys we always like to talk to on these topics. Michael, I guess we start with if the United States and Britain and the Russians were all in a chorus together and they were singing one tune and addressing it to the Chinese, I kind of have a feeling that the song would go something like, "Good luck," right?
Oh, it's going to be worse than that. The Chinese are going to have a terrible time. I know they've talked to the Taliban about that, but the Taliban, first of all, only controls just a little over half of the country. There is a high security risk, and no one wants to do investments such as Belt and Road when there's such instability. Political and military instability, and you have a lot of ethnic groups there that now are reforming their militias, and they're all going to be warring with one another. You're going to see an outgrowth, I think, of new warlords, and China is going to have a real problem. And the other problem, even if in a theoretical sense you could build a BRI into Afghanistan successfully, the Chinese have another problem. They always bring in their own people. They don't hire locally. And there's been a lot of complaints from Africa and even Latin America to that degree. So China would have a real challenge if it wanted to do it. All it's doing is looking at those resources that exist there, and I think that they also should be very cognizant of the insecurity that still exists in that country. I think the whole place is going to descend into a civil war very, very shortly.
John, what is it about Afghanistan that makes it such a high prize and that also makes it so unconquerable?
Well, its geographic location is very important here. I mean, what everyone is looking at is a kaleidoscopic geopolitical dilemma. If you're dealing with Afghanistan, you've got to deal with Iran to the west, Pakistan to the east. Afghanistan actually has a border in Kashmir that is contested between India and Pakistan. So any efforts by China to cozy up to the Afghan government prematurely could rub the Indians the wrong way. And this is very important, as your correspondent noted and as Michael just did, in terms of the Belt Road Initiative that China is proceeding with to try to connect its Western markets with those in Central Asia, the Middle East, and ultimately to Europe. But there's also about $2 to $3 trillion worth of rare earth elements beneath the ground in Afghanistan. And these elements are critical to all of the technologies of the future: electric vehicles, consumer electronics, 5 and 6G telecommunications, as well as the major military hardware in China and in the West. There's going to be a contest for those rare earth minerals as well. This is going to be a very difficult proposition for China as much as it has been for any other country.
Am I wrong to be so critical of this military engagement that we were so horrible at? It seems that most of my colleagues whitewash all our military engagements, even when we screw up. Shouldn't we be honest about this kind of stuff and call it like it is, gentlemen? I guess, Michael, I'll start with you. We've got about 45 seconds. Why don't you take half of that?
Yeah, I think you cannot take away the bravery and the loyalty and the commitment that our U.S. troops on the ground did.
Of course not.
And I commend them highly. It was a stinking policy. We had the Taliban on the run up until 2003, and then in 2003 we took our eye off the ball and switched to Iraq, and Iraq became Afghanistan became known as the Forgotten War.
John, you agree? Down to about 20 seconds, my friend.
In a democracy, you need to have popular support for a military campaign when you're defending your nation's interests or those of your allies. And that entails honesty. And one of the things that we were unable to see from our political leadership is an explanation as to why continuing the war would deliver a different outcome. And I commend President Trump and President Biden for jointly coming to this decision. However painful it is, it's ultimately in our national interest.
My thanks to both of you for bringing us this and your expert commentary. My thanks.